Hey everyone, we have Galaxy head coach Greg Vanney. We'll start with questions from Nikki K. Nikki, go ahead.
All right, Coach, we've seen you come back from being down 2-0 before. That third goal proved to be the dagger. How did you feel about the team's response coming out of the locker room at half?
Yeah, look, I in general, I thought the effort of the group was there. It's difficult. It's MLS, which is what some of these guys are learning a little bit about, which is 3 games in the week on the road, 2 at altitude, 1 in really warm, humid conditions. I've talked a lot this week with the group about just our inefficiencies on the field. I think I've said that to you guys. Losing possessions when we can't lose possessions, between our lines, exposing ourselves, having to sprint in recovery. Too many of those moments in MLS in the summer and the tough conditions and the tough places we have to play. There's a cumulative effect to those things, both physically and mentally. And the first goal comes a little bit out of nothing. It's a shot from far that I'm sure if it doesn't, if Dan doesn't try to do something to it, then Bondi just picks it up and we're okay. But yeah, so how was the response after halftime? I told them I wanted to see, I wanted to give them the opportunity for the next 10 minutes to come out and try to change the rhythm of the game, and then we give up another goal. So that was that. And at that point, it became preserving some of the guys who were grinding through this window a little bit. Some other guys really had to suffer through it anyways. Dan, who just came back, really suffered, and that's the fourth goal a bit because he's cramping and everything. So there was. Look, we have some guys in different spots physically who are coming back from injuries. We're thin, and we didn't do well. We didn't do good enough even through the week of holding the ball and protecting ourselves from all that additional work. And so we have to grow as a team. We have to get better. We have to get on the same page with some of that stuff, and and we have to continue to press on and continue to fill out our group. That's where we are at this moment. That happens. I've been through this before with teams that went on to go to the finals. And so it's that moment, it's that challenging moment in MLS where you try to manage it the best you can. And tonight we didn't do a great job of that.
And with 13 shots and 9 corner kicks, you guys had plenty of opportunities. At some point, does the failure to capitalize on those opportunities, does that frustration seep into the game and how you manage it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think so. I mean, I think for me, again, the biggest hurdle is it's the turnovers, the unnecessary turnovers when we shouldn't lose the ball. It's having to sprint in a situation when you think that you're perfectly in control of the game and you guys have possession, and then you just give the ball away and now you're sprinting. Those moments are far more frustrating than getting to a chance on goal and not putting the goal away. I think, when you create a chance, there's still some energy that's built by the group in that moment. But when you just lose balls between the lines, when simple passes are there, that becomes frustrating because the repercussion of that is more physical work, and it's and on a day where that's difficult. And so those are the moments that concern me. I mean, look, we're a little thin in front of the goal at the moment, and we're trying to find ways to manufacture some goals. We're trying to get some guys going who have the capacity to score but haven't really got going yet. So there's a lot of factors with that. But I think the biggest frustration on the night was just our inefficiencies and some of the moments where we force ourselves to have to do work when we don't really need to do more work. And that gets old.
And the thin roster, the conditions, all things considered, is this a type of loss where you watch it back in the coming days, or do you put it behind you and keep moving forward?
No, I watch them all. And look, but the thin roster means it's an opportunity for guys to learn, to improve, to give themselves some experiences, to show how they're going to help the team as the team comes together for the second half of the season, things like that. So I don't have a problem with the fact that we have a thin roster. We just, my concern is making sure that we keep our guys healthy, especially our guys like Victor and Sacha, who are not the youngest guys anymore, but are important to our team. It's Derek, who's just getting back. It's Dan, who's just getting back. It's Ryan, who's just joined us from an off season. Like these guys, we're trying to get everybody to the same physical condition and make sure when we get guys back that we're as whole as we possibly can be when everybody arrives, while we're still trying to take as many points as we can through this stretch, obviously. So there's a few things here that are their play. We're very confident with the group we have, and this is an opportunity that for people to kind of get some opportunities and step up and learn.
All right, thanks, Coach. Safe travels.
Yep, thank you.
We'll go with Damon Calhoun next. Damon, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, you're talking about guys you're trying to get going. Looking at Kevin Cabral's week, how do you assess his performance this week? I guess a lot of people expected him to carry over the momentum from the goal he had before you guys left home, but I guess 3 shots in 3 games. How did you sort of see him this week here?
Yeah, he didn't have a ton of impact in the games in terms of those things, goals and assists and things like that. So that's evident. That's easy to see. Anybody can kind of see that stuff. I think he's learning. He's a young man he's 21, just turned 22. I think the expectation when you have a DP tag is you're coming in and light it up, but we see the value for him too is that he still needs to fill out some physically. He needs to learn the league. He needs to learn to manage the physicality. I think some of his running is clever, and sometimes we pick him up and sometimes we don't. Sometimes he tries to play in combination so quick that it becomes like we turn over the ball in those moments, and it needs to sometimes just slow down just a little bit and connect with the group. So his intentions are good. He's trying to adapt to things, and he will as he continues to work through this. And so part of it for me is to try to help him learn, try to help him grow, and try to help him to adapt as we continue to move forward and the group continues to fill out. But for me, I didn't expect him to come in and score 10 goals. I think he's been in good spots and hasn't executed in times. And he needs to continue to learn and grow. But we think we know this. His future and his upside is excellent. But I think physically he's got to try to figure out he's got to grow and meet the demands of the physicality of the league sometimes, and sometimes just slow down and play and connect in partnership with his teammates a little bit and not try to rush things through. So. It'll come around. It's a work in progress.
And one more, the guys with the Gold Cup, if they're eliminated this week, could they be available for you Friday?
Yes.
If they're eliminated this weekend?
Yes. Anybody, as soon as they're eliminated, they're back with us. So whatever day that is, then the next day they will recover. So I guess I can figure out who you're rooting for and not rooting for.
Well, Mexico's up 2-0, so they're done. Mexico's up 2-0, so you probably
won't see those guys anytime soon. Yeah. Nah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
We'll go with Josh Guessman next. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. Sorry, trying to unmute there. Defensively, obviously, 4 goals isn't great, but let's just focus maybe on the second and third goals. It's been a rotating cast back there. Does progress still need to be made on that defensive side? Guys getting back, getting comfortable?
Yeah, for sure. I think our collective defending has to continue to improve. Our reactions and transition to reorganize tonight were a little bit off. I felt like we were scrambling too much defensively from front to midfield, especially, which then puts a lot of pressure on the back line. Again, the frustration of losing balls between lines and then guys don't transition from the attack to defend quickly to reorganize and get underneath the ball. We were a little slow in that capacity, which means you end up chasing the ball more, right? Because you're then trying to recover the ball from no particular shape and no particular connection to your teammates. And so, some of those things I thought hurt us and it exposed us in the back. It's the second goal was right before half. That's the corner kick goal.
Yeah, that's that Derek Williams.
Derek's an experienced player. If he's going to jump, he knows he's got to win it, and if he can't win it, then he's got to turn and just face guard and make sure that he protects the goal. And he got caught in between, and the kid buried it. And he has to, as a veteran player, he has to deal with that better. I'm sure he'll raise his hand and say the same thing. The third goal, I can't even remember. I feel like there was But yeah, I think, and we talked about this yesterday as a group, just collectively our defending front to back, our transitions, but also where and how we lose the ball play a role in that. How we've had a little thing here over the stretch where when teams are getting in crossing positions, we're dropping into zonal positions, which is not something that we want to be doing. We want to be accountable to men and take away the men in front of the goal so that so they can't score. And we've given up at least 2 goals in the last 3 games off of stuff like that, where we're falling off into these zonal positions, and the guy we should be tight to is the one who buries it on us. So there's some habits that we've got to readjust, but we haven't really had training sessions this week to really hammer those things away. So we'll utilize this week to try to jump on a few of those things. But yeah, collective defending for sure. We talked about it yesterday. We can't win anything if we're giving away the number of goals we're giving away right now. So we've got to tighten that up for sure.
And just quickly, Steris was just cramping on that?
He was cramping. Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
We have time for one left. We'll go with Chris Maldonado. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for the time. By the way, Jonathan Dos Santos just scored an amazing goal like 5 minutes ago. I'm sure you'll see it later.
Great news.
Aside from the physicality, these past couple of games, the players have been visibly tired. It's very taxing. Weather plays something into that, but it does seem like the guys have entered a bit of a mental rut. As the head coach, what do you say to these guys as a group in order to kind of snap them out of that and get them ready for August, which is going to be just about as hard as July was?
Yeah, look, I thought the mental rut is a little bit this week. I thought we were playing quite well leading into this week. I thought, the 2 games prior to this stretch where we haven't gotten results, I thought we played pretty well, and guys were locked in and maybe played 2 of the brighter games that we had played through the course of the season. So, again, I think I think it's, a combination of conditions, a combination of summer, a combination of thin and asking the guys to do a lot, a combination of guys who are physically kind of in different places in the moment, and whatever. I don't need to give the guys excuses. Look, we all look and say we wanted to come out with more intensity this game than we were able to bring in the last game, but then the intensity wanes if you lose the ball and you end up having to work. So all of these things fit together, right? And those inefficiencies that I talked about, it starts to wear on guys physically, and it can start to wear on guys mentally. So at the end of the day, we regroup when we get home. I know guys will love to be at home in front of their fans and their stadium and on their field and in their beds and ready to play. As guys start to come back and trickle back over the next week or so, I'm sure that'll bring smiles to guys' faces to see the guys coming back. And this is welcome to the MLS summer grind, when, especially if you're a big team and you have guys away at national team duty and different things like that, it becomes, you've got to be really on it and sharp. And, we didn't have a great week that way. So, I thought our comeback obviously on Wednesday was an outstanding response to that particular game, but then we struggled through this one for good stretches.
Thank you for your time, Greg. Safe travels back home.
All right. Take care.
Hi, everyone. We have LA Galaxy midfielder Sacha Kljestan. We'll start with questions from Nikki K. Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Sacha. Just wanted to get your perspective on where the turning point was this game. You guys came out with a solid 20, 25 minutes. The first goal happened, and then things seemed to unravel. So what did you see out there?
Yeah, it was a culmination of us not taking care of the ball enough in really hot conditions. So their goal really kind of comes out of nothing. A slight deflection off Daniel, and it kind of goes right into the path of Pepe, who puts it in. And then the second goal also, it's a corner kick that we don't manage as well as we can. And then after that, I think we were dead. Once the third goal comes early in the second half, we were just too tired, I think, to get back in the game. At the end of a long trip like this, physically, it was very tough, and we have to do a better job of managing the ball in games like this.
Greg just communicated that he's very aware this is dog days of MLS summers, very expecting of valleys like this throughout the course of the season. So as a player, when you've got a bunch of new guys who are new to the league, how do you communicate that the disappointment they may be feeling right now is kind of part of the undulations of a season?
Yeah, this is part of the learning curve for some of our new guys to understand that playing in these places is difficult and that we always have to respect our opponent no matter who we play. Dallas is down there at the bottom of the table, but they gave us their best tonight, and it was hard on us at the end of this road trip, and we didn't manage it properly. So this is a game, that part of me wants to say forget about everything and let's get back on track at home next week. And then the other part is we got to look back on this game and learn things from this for sure, because we're still a team that's in a process right now. We're still getting there, and so this is a game we have to learn from and do better next time.
Thanks, Sacha. Safe travels.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nikki. We'll go with Josh Guessman next. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Sacha. I sort of want to get your perspective. 3 games in 8 days, being on a 3-game road trip, playing at altitude at 2 of them, playing in heat. I mean, even by MLS standards, that's a lot. How difficult is that mentally, physically for everybody?
I mean, I think it's more physical than mental. We've all played 3 games in a week many times in our careers, but that's probably peak MLS as far as how hard it can be conditions-wise, right? So 2 games at altitude, both of them actually very hot still as well, and then this game really, really hot temperature-wise and a bit humid. So for some of our younger guys, for some of our foreign guys that are new to the league, I think that's a real shock to the system. And so then we have to get them, and all of us, and me included, all of us to understand that in a game like that, you have to manage it really well. You have to manage the ball really well. You can't piss it away easily. And so, like I said, learning curve for us. This was really hard physically. We got a couple of days off now to rest and get back and see our families, which I think everyone is excited about. And then get back in on Tuesday with a 3-day lead up to a big game at home against Portland.
And does this help you looking at August? Obviously, same number of games, maybe some more home games there, but does this sort of help you prepare for what August is also going to be like?
Yeah, we've got, I think maybe 5 of 6 of the next ones are at home. The game can look different when we play at home because it's usually not this hot, at our stadium. We get some cool nights where you feel like you can run forever, so you can really take a few more chances with the ball because everyone's getting back behind the ball a bit faster. So we're all excited about playing at home. We just have to learn from this and understand that games look different in different places in the States. So, when you come to the South and when you go at altitude, it's hot and it's hard and it's different. So we got to learn.
Travel safe. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. We have one last one from Chris Maldonado. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Sacha, thanks for the time. When I talk to a lot of your teammates, they all seem to kind of agree that you're one of the leaders in that locker room. A lot of the times they say you're the leader in that locker room. How do you help these guys, or what can you say to them? And I asked Coach a similar question just now, but how can you help these guys kind of snap out of the, let's call it a failure of these last 3 games? How do you help them overcome that, snap out of that, proceed into August to be successful?
Well, I don't think we need to drop all of our confidence based off of this road trip. We've responded so well after every loss we've had this season. We made it a goal of ours to not lose back-to-back games this season. So I think mentally we will be refreshed after this and be ready to put the right foot forward. For some of these guys, it's just to keep building them back up and have them, not worry about this game so much and just think about the future and think about what we're pushing towards, knowing that this is a process. We're not winning the championship right now, right? So we've got to continue to get better as we go on in the season. We're still close to the top. We don't want to get too much space of separation, between Seattle, Kansas City, and all these other teams that are right behind us. But no, these guys are strong. They're all mentally strong kids. They all know what's going on. And I just continue to push them and continue to give them confidence. I hope they all understand. I make them all understand that I believe in them so much. And so, we'll be fine.
Thank you.
Sacha, thank you for your time. Safe travels back home.
All right. Thanks, guys.